Thursday on Sportsnet. The wait is finally over.
Here we go.
The Blue Jays are back.
It's go time.
Batter up.
We're back at it.
It's gone.
Toronto touches down in Tampa for the season opener.
That's the way to get the party started.
It's the best time of the year.
The boys of summer are ready. Are you?
Home run for Bo Bichette.
Folks, you're going to love watching this guy play all year long.
Blue Jays, Rays, Thursday on Sportsnet.
This guy's just absolutely dynamic when it comes to putting the puck in.
This guy, something else.
Here comes the 67th. Wow.
And now the Rangers are away.
His acceleration's off the charts.
That's a player that all eyes in the NHL are going to be on tonight.
You are not going to sit there and tell me that this guy is not going to be a future NHLer. This kid is something special.
The OHL playoffs are coming soon to Rogers TV.
Watching Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hello, and welcome to Her Story, the show to encourage more women to explore the possibility of using their talents and skills by participating in leadership roles within our community. I'm Tiffany James, and I have the pleasure of hosting this program. Her Story is here to encourage women in our community to actively engage and use their voice to bring attention to issues they are passionate about, with the hope that we will all get more involved. Please welcome my guest, Diane Austin, CEO of the Owen Sound and District Chamber of Commerce. Diane knows the importance of being active in the community. Her role as CEO of the Chamber has her actively involved in the business community, and she's a firm believer that supporting local is the key to a successful, prosperous local community. Before Diane took on the role of CEO, she was a huge part in the local medical community and worked in the medical field for over 40 years. Welcome, Diane. I'm excited to hear your story. I'm really excited to see what moved you from medical to business, because that is a big difference.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
So tell me a bit about your background.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you so much for having me. I am humbled because I don't know why I would be as part of this Her Story, because you've had so many amazing and wonderful guests. And I'm just gobsmacked by you asking me to be part of this.
Well, it's not very often you see a woman in the role of a CEO, especially in the role of a Chamber of Commerce CEO. So I think that in itself is a huge accomplishment, and you shouldn't, make slight of that. So yes, you bring lots to the table.
Oh, well, thank you. But you're absolutely right. Fresh out of school, I did do nursing, and then realized that my heart got broken way too much because of the patients and the compassion. So what I did is I went back and took more of a medical administrative course and worked in the background. And I realized that that was my role, and that's what I love to do, because you were still in the medical field, and yet you still were able to be there as a component of healthcare and work with the leadership roles as far as physicians. So 40 years ago, yes, just so you know, I was probably 12 at the time. Because thinking back now, 40 years is a long time in the medical field. But I think that what I did is I worked at the Cambridge Memorial Hospital for years, starting off in the ambulance department, being the only girl at that point. As you know, that was more of a man's world. We didn't have paramedics or anything like that, where the women actually went into training to do that. So it was a little intimidating, but loved it. And then, of course, went into a daycare. It was a home away program run by the social services department at the Cambridge Hospital, and did a lot there. Then my husband was transferred up here, and it was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because I loved what I was doing. Reached out to an organization to let them know that I would be interested in looking for a job in the medical field. Then I went to Brook Medical. I was at the hospital originally, but I had 2 small children, didn't know anyone, so realized that that wasn't for me, especially if it was shift work.
Mm.
So got a job working at Brook Medical, and then I got a job working for two family physicians, Dr. Hiscox, an ophthalmologist who I positively love. I worked for him for a few years and then went out on my own. My husband decided to purchase some businesses, and I did all the bookkeeping and so on.
So sorry to interrupt. So you do have a familiarity with business, as you just mentioned.
I do.
So what could you compare between the two from the medical field to the business community?
What I found, I actually took an accounting course as well, just so that I could do what I needed to do for my husband. But I really didn't find that there was really quite a connection at that point, because I was solely accounting and there was no people connection. Mm-hmm. That's what I was missing. So I did go back and work into the medical field because I loved it and I missed it, because I had that person-to-person contact and then dealing with physicians. It's what I do best. Mm. But then when I left the hospital, I was actually asked by, I went and taught for a little bit, medical terminology and medical office assistant. And I did that as a maternity leave because I still didn't have that. I wanted that connection. Then I got approached by a family physician if I would be interested in coming and doing maternity leave, who not only was, he was my family physician, mm-hmm. and he was chief of staff at the hospital. So his assistant at the hospital was leaving, and I didn't tell him that I had applied for that job. I was approached to apply for that job. So when the interview time came and he saw that it was me, he came to see me in his office and said, "Traitor." And I did get the job. He had to sort of back away because it was a conflict for him. Mm-hmm. And I did get the job. And then I was the executive assistant to the chief of staff for 5 hospitals.
Oh, wow.
Which entailed being in charge of all the physicians. Once again, positively loved it. Positively loved it. Then I left there and worked for a urologist for a while. And he retired, so I retired. Then I got asked from one of the board members if I would come and work at the chamber office, because the assistant here was leaving, and to go through it and organize it, because I did have background in organizing offices. I'd done it for a few physicians. Mm-hmm. So I came in looking at it from a perspective and going from herding cats, because physicians are like that, because there are so many different personalities and so many different ophthalmologists, orthopedic surgeons. There was so many different types of fields. Mm-hmm. And I came here and realized it was not herding cats, but once again, it was all different businesses. Same mm-hmm. idea in my head. So I did that for a while until they were going to hire someone, but then they asked me if I would stay. Oh. And then when and I loved it, positively loved it, because once again, dealing with people, coming up with great ideas, revamping the chamber on what needed to be done from my perspective. And
so I haven't, sorry, I didn't put that in your bio, but how long have you been the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce?
Well, I've actually been at the Chamber of Commerce for 2017. What is that? 8 years.
Oh, wow.
Been the CEO for 5.
Okay.
5 years now. And I learned it. I rewrote policies and looked at the bylaws and restructured it a little bit as assistant, just to look at different ways we could improve the chamber, mm-hmm. try to get into, the 2000s, basically, yes. Because the Chamber of Commerce has been in operation since 1881.
Yeah.
It's been here for a while. Mm-hmm. And of course, moving forward, we had to bring in new ideas. And I don't think that me as a chamber, I brought in the right people as the CEO. Mm-hmm. And I would say that the people I brought on, and I will mention you, Savannah and Cheryl. And because I brought you two into this fold and even brought it further into the now 2024s and improving it, that's not all on me. I've got a great team. And I do know, and what that does for me is then it makes me go out which is my love and my joy, is the community. Involved in boards, get involved in the Chocolate Lover Society, which to me is bringing money and raising money for really good causes, which in turn brings the fact into chamber relevance, again, because of the people I deal with and work with, that they see us out in the community. I mean, we work really hard with the city. That's something we didn't have before. I'm loving it. I love the passion. I love the fact that now we're a voice. Our board, who we've got in place right now, they're young, they're vibrant, and I'm so proud of that board. And once again, it's not just me, and I think they make me look good. My staff on the board, yeah.
So, you've got a lot of experience within the medical field and just tons of experience. So tell me a bit, who are the main influences in your life?
You know, it's funny you should say that, because I looked at that and I thought my influencers in my life, first of all, is my husband. He's been such a support. He's taught me a lot because he is a businessman. And for me to look at it, because medical is a business as well, but the focus goes in different areas, but there's always that groundwork. So Sid has taught me a lot about the business and the running of it. At one point in time, he was on the board. There wasn't a conflict, because if there was anything to do with personal, he of course had to step away. Even when they hired me, he wasn't part of that. But, and then of course my children, they keep me grounded. They really keep me grounded. And I think that as I watch them grow into their roles and what they do, I love that. And of course, my board, my friends that I have that are business people, you know, like Lois Taylor and Belinda Bowler, Rhonda Kirk, Sophie Douglas. That's part of the Chocolate Lover Society. And of course,
I want to touch a little bit on that. Can you tell me a little bit of the Chocolate Lover Society? Because that is a really great group of ladies that are doing a lot for the community. And I'd love you to tell me a little bit more about that.
I was honored when they asked me if I would be a part of that committee. This is a group of business ladies that have taken it upon themselves. We go to different organizations. We've done 3 at this point, and looking to do more. We're in the process of organizing a new one. We raise money. We get raffle prizes. We organize the event. We sell the tickets. We make sure that we talk to the people that we're fundraising for, and we take absolutely no money.
And what are some of the fundraising efforts that you've done so far?
Well, we have done fundraising for the Shriners. So that amount of money we had for that event went directly to the Children's Hospital.
Oh, wow.
We've done a fundraiser for the Grey Bruce Animal Shelter.
Wow.
We did a fundraiser for the Women's Shelter just this Christmas, so that we went out, raised money, and then bought Christmas gifts from that money for the women and their children.
That's lovely.
So that so they could have a good Christmas.
If anyone was wanting to get in touch with you in regards to, I have, a family in need, or I have a not-for-profit group that would really use help, how would they be able to get in touch with the Chocolate Lover Society?
Well, because of all the ladies and where they are in the community and what they do, it's more word of mouth right now. We take it to the committee, and we have ideas at this point in time. We have right now such a huge list.
Oh, wow.
That we're working on. We're doing one for Dr. Webster's son in April. And that one, April 19th, and that one is to fundraise for a foundation that they're creating.
Oh, and that foundation is for eating disorders?
Yes.
That's lovely.
So we're doing that as well. So that's so much fun. And we love doing a great group of ladies. We have Nancy Lloyd out of Collingwood, Wasaga Beach, Collingwood area, that she's part of it as well. There's just so many of us. Joanne Horton.
All women empowering women to do great things. I love it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So you mentioned that you moved from Cambridge to Owen Sound. Would you say that was a huge change in the trajectory of your life, and how did that influence you in your career and just in general?
Well, the reason we came to Owen Sound is because my husband was transferred up here to run a company. So it was, my kids were little, and I stayed home for the first little bit with them. That's where I got back into the medical field part time. And I positively fell in love with this community. I love Owen Sound. I love the people. And as I progressed in my career, I realized that I wanted to be a part of that community. I wanted to support it, get involved. So not only with the Chocolate Lover Society, but I'm on boards of different. I'm on boards with the Marina Rail. I was on the board with the Billy Bishop. I was on a board with the Glassworks, looking for affordable housing. Just still wanting to get out there. And when I retire from what I'm doing, I want to join more committees and more boards, just to help and assist, because I love this community. Working with the city, positively love it.
You're also actively involved in the Rogers family as well. You mentioned Lois. You and Lois started a, I think, hilarious program. It's happening here that Savannah and I now do. And then you have You Never Know with Lois and Diane. Is that something you'd like to explore more?
I would, actually, and I have been actually talking to the director or the general manager, Mark Perry, about doing another show as well. But you never know, and you never know what's going to happen with Lois and Diane. It's happening here was a good segue. We loved it. We went out there. It was something that we wanted to do after COVID to help businesses and make awareness. And it was a lot of fun. But Lois had thought maybe we should go into the studio and try and make it something like what Toronto has, but put our spin on it. So we're bringing different speakers in, and we love that. But now what I would like to do, and of course, Lois is my sidekick. We're a good team. We wanted to have a talk show. Just
nice.
Just with women, almost like The View, but maybe keep politics out of it a little bit. That happen here, and have influential women, and and have them come and just talk. It's still in the discussion works. I haven't really convinced Mark totally that we would like to do that, but I know he's listening.
He's always listening.
He's always listening. Yes, so still a lot more things to do, and
you're
busy.
You're very busy. What motivates you? What makes you? You never stop. I know that. I work with you, so I see you go and go and go. What motivates you?
What motivates me? Just wanting to help, just wanting to be there, just getting involved. As you know, privately, Sid and we sponsor the Northern Lights. We have a display there we did years and years and years ago that we painted ourselves. Just wanting the community to know that we're proud of where we are, and anything that I could do. I love to be active. I love to help. I think that has a lot to do with my childhood when I know it's hard to believe, but my dad was a minister. Yes, I was a minister's child. And yes,
that explains so much.
Yes, the stories are true. But I think that being a part of that and my upbringing was always helping people, talking to people, being a people person, because you had to be. And I'm still doing that at this ripe old age of
40.
Yes. Yeah, let's just keep that there. Yeah,
give or take a decade.
Yeah, that's what I like. I just love people and being a part of something.
That's amazing. So you mentioned you've gone through several career changes. How would you encourage someone who's looking to start a new career, who might be afraid or just has hit that fork in the road and is not sure which way to go?
I would always say to someone that if you feel you're stale in what you're doing, there's so many opportunities out there. You just have to grab them. And even if it's something that you did and you thought, oh, okay, maybe this is not for me, don't give up. I've done so many different things. And of course, my comfort zone was medicine, which I positively loved. But doing what I do now, I love even more. Don't give up. Don't ever get discouraged. don't, sometimes life does throw you lemons. And I hate this saying, but I do strongly believe it is don't let it discourage you. Make that lemonade or even mix it with some gin. I'm not sure what you want to do with it.
That's a drink I've never heard of before.
Yeah, gin and lemon.
Gin and lemonade.
Yeah. Hey.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Exactly. Don't get discouraged. If you want to put, my thing is, believe it or not, but you are strong. You are strong. Even if you don't think you are, you really are. And you can do it. Take that leap. Take that leap because it could be something that you weren't aware you were missing in your life.
A lot of women struggle to find their voice, especially in a male-dominated role. How have you been able to find that you're heard or that your voice in this field? Because like I said, you don't often see a female CEO or a female CEO of a chamber of commerce. So how have you found that journey?
What I have found, and of course, I don't know if it's my age or if it's my generation, because my generation, my mother was a very strong person, and she did things that a lot of women at that age did not do. She ran a nursing home. She had friends in there, and she just don't ever take the word no. You can do it. You can listen to what they have to say, but it's always that, yeah, but. And it's how you project it to them. A lot of times when it was a male role, and of course, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, maybe not. You may not think that, but what if you look at it this way? It's always been that, I never took no for an answer. I found a different way to get to them, but I did not come back with that strong yelling and screaming and it was
listen to me.
Yeah, exactly. It was, yeah, I get what you're saying because you've always got it. I know what you're saying, but did you look at it this way?
Nice.
And I always tried in some way to know the person and understand what their role is, what they're thinking of, and very politely, yeah, but, yeah, but, because in some reason, if I came back with, I don't want to yell, I don't want to, but I always stood up. If I had someone that was giving me a hard time, or if I felt, I always looked them in the eye, never looked away, never looked like they were intimidating me. And it's happened. And just said, yes, but did you think of it this way? Or, or because you can be very firm in a nice way.
Calm. Yes, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, because I've had help with them.
Was there a pivotal moment that inspired you to want to become more involved in the community, to just want to, like you mentioned, the Chocolate Lovers Society and all of the great work you guys are doing fundraising for important causes? Was there a certain moment in your life that made you realize that you could give more and that you wanted to?
I'm sure you've heard this many, many times, but it was during COVID. During COVID, I learned a lot, and I realized all the things that people were going through at that time. I had a lot of time in this role to think about people are hurting, businesses are hurting. How can I help? How can I make things better? So that's when I thought about the businesses, and in my role as CEO, and I actually called Mark, and I said, Mark Perry, and I said to him, how can we, as the chamber, help the businesses? And I would like to have a TV show and showcase them. And he said, funny you should say that, because Lois, my friend Lois, who it is actually, we've got such an amazing relationship now. I called her and I said, Lois, I hear you want to do this too. Let's talk about it and let's do something. And that's when we started with It's Happening Here and went out there. And I realized that this is the start of how we can help. This is the start of my life. And then with the businesses and how happy they were to showcase their product and their business, that then it got Lois and I thinking of other things.
Nice.
Okay, now the community, now the Chocolate Lover Society. It was going on for quite a few years, but got me involved in that as well. And then I joined boards because that started it. That was the pivot. So I guess you could say that Mark was the one who said, okay, you'll be sorry for what you asked for, but I do owe it a lot to him and Lois on where I really started getting more involved.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, we're almost out of time.
Oh,
so I just have a few more questions. I know it goes by fast.
Yeah.
What is something that piques your interest that is unexplored territory for you? What's something you want to try?
I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm probably not going to do it, but it was one of those things that I would love to run for city council.
Oh, breaking news.
I know. I've never told anybody that. I think it is something that working with the city and watching city council and talking to city councilors, that I know I do not have the education for it or the background, but it is something that because of working in the community, I would love to have run for city council at one point. And it's something that's always been in the back of my mind, but with my age and, looking at retirement.
40's young.
Yeah. You could almost double that, by the way. But I think that's always been one of my dreams, but I've never had the courage, as I say, stand up, do what you want to do.
To get more involved in the community. That's something you already are, but you want to do it more. I love that.
I do. But yeah.
What advice would you give to someone that is trying to find their voice, that is working through things, is finding they're not being heard and they want to speak up? What advice would you give them?
Don't give up. Don't give up. I think that if you want your voice heard, don't give up. Be strong. Stick true to your feelings and whatever you deem as important to you. Stay true to them. Keep letting them hear your voice. Keep doing that. Speak up. Absolutely. And find a way. Any little change is a change. Right.
And lastly, Diane, what have you learned about yourself on this journey?
How strong I am.
Love that.
How strong I am. And hoping to be an influence or an influencer. And that's what I've learned as I get older, realizing that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it. Except for running for city council. Because that scares me. Yeah.
You said yourself, don't be afraid.
Be afraid. I know, but it's just one of those things that I've always wanted to do. And, being in my career, haven't really had the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm making a difference, I hope.
Is there anything up and coming with the chamber that you are excited about, that you'd like to share?
There's a few things. I am so excited about having the luncheon with our MP and MVP. And I want people to, register. It's going to be an interesting luncheon. And I'm also excited to announce that the chamber was awarded it's not the partnership, but working with the city on the new mat tax.
Oh, excellent.
So we're in the process right now of getting all that organized, trying to form a board, trying to come up with a brand or a logo, and just working through the beginnings of where we're going with that to help the community and bring in tourism.
That's great. Well, thank you, Diane, for joining me today on Her Story. I would like to end the program with a quote that reminds me of you.
Oh.
If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, then you are an excellent leader. That's from the great Dolly Parton. And Diane, you inspire me.
Oh, thank you. You're going to make me cry.
Good, then I did it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Diane.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.